So I just pranked Tia, and I told her that the video was going. Or I actually didn't even tell her. I just like let her assume it was on, and she just did a whole intro. And the reason I did that is because we're filming this right after the Q&A video, and we are finally done with the Chowsers. So this is gonna be a little boozy of a video. We're on our last little goblet of mead. So let's have one last little toast here.
Cheers.
Skål. And Tia had some questions she wanted to ask. This is not a Q&A video. But she actually wanted to host her own video.
Okay, well, I guess I just have a really simple question. So,
is it simple though, Tia?
No, it's not. But so basically, all these pagan traditions came from different cultures, and a lot of these cultures are very different from general American or British culture. And I feel like we don't discuss this enough because, you know, religions were created for societies so that the citizens could have values. I mean, that wasn't their exclusive purpose, but that was one of them. So I just wonder, a lot of us worship these deities, but we don't necessarily follow the values of the societies that they were created in. So I just wanted to know from you, baby, like, do you follow I guess the ancient Scandinavian values? Have you tried to learn their language? Have you tried to like pick up any of their culture? Like, have you tried to assimilate into the culture of ancient Scandinavia? Because with all these, I guess, traditions, they were created in certain contexts, and they were created so that the people who followed them would like have certain values, or at least theoretically have certain values. I mean, like, you can tell people to do anything, and most of the time they won't do it, but you get my point.
And okay, like a preface to this question, Tia, actually, it's kind of interesting because this is like a viewer question. Because Tia, when we first started dating, stalked my YouTube channel, which is cute, and she totally stalked my videos, didn't you?
Yeah.
She did. And it's she's just like matter of fact.
Yeah.
She's like I said before, she's super Aquarius. So, and she's super smart. So I'm kind of excited because it's such an in-depth question. Do you want to answer the question about how you do it first, or do you want me to just answer it?
Okay, here's my short answer. I would if I knew enough how to do it, if I knew enough about a certain culture and was able to do it properly. I don't know enough about any specific culture to do it properly, and I don't speak their language well enough to read the original text. However, I would like to do it in the future, but a lot of these languages are very hard and take a long time. I'd be interested in learning Gaelic or, I don't know, Greek, or even like ancient Scandinavian languages if I could. But it's going to take a long time, let's be real. They're really hard.
Are you interested in learning about your own culture's language? Maybe tell them what that is. 'Cause
I'm Serbian.
Say it with your grandpa's accent.
No.
Come on.
I'm Serbian.
She said.
But okay, I don't know. Like, it's really complicated. Serbians don't have the best reputation. They've done a lot of stupid things. I can say this, I am Serbian. And in addition, Slavic neo-paganism has a lot of problems. Mainly, it's just like a perpetual head desk of offensive things. It's almost, honestly, a lot of Slavic neo-pagans are worse than Donald Trump. It's embarrassing. It's sad because the original deities, there's nothing like offensive or racist about the original Slavic faith, but the way that so many modern people practice it has really close ties to like neo-Nazism in Eastern Europe. So I don't know if I would want to learn it. I don't even know if I'd want to learn my family's language, just because then I'd understand more of what they say. And I hear enough about Putin and why Donald Trump is great in English.
Her grandpa actually watches like Putin like news.
Yeah, and so, he told me all of the Hillary Clinton's conspiracies, like all of them, and why she's the devil and stuff. And it's just, I hear enough of this as it is. Like, I almost wish I could hear less of it. I know that sounds really mean, but...
No, we all have parts of our families that we love and parts that we think is crazy. So it's totally okay coming from a family of very devout, either Zionist Christian type of people or non-denominational, which are chillax in my opinion. I'm not downing any Christians at all. I was raised that faith. I'm also burping a little bit because in Chelsea's Mead, we found Bevmo, which is like a beverages and more place. And when I mean beverages, I mean beverages that we've been enjoying the finer things in life. But no, I totally understand because family sometimes has darker roots than we'd like to admit.
It's not even family. It's certain like the revival of some of these traditions was done with really bad intentions. And I hate to say it, but Slavic neo-paganism has a lot of problems, and a lot of it was done with really like in Eastern Europe. It's kind of
was it traditionally like that, or was it
after? No, of course not. Traditionally, it was just an earth-based faith like everything. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Traditionally, it was an earth-based faith like everything else, but it was revived during a time after the fall of the Soviet Union to promote like ethnocentrism in Eastern Europe, which is not cool, as you all know. And I'm sure.
Well, hopefully you know. If you're on my channel and you're a Nazi, get out of here. This is not the channel for you.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, get back to the question.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever done it, or viewers?
And also, viewers, put it in the comments, or would be really cool if you tagged this video and also answered this question for yourself, because I'm interested, and I'm sure Tia hella wants to watch videos, and then she's going to talk about them. She's going to make response videos too. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of go into a subcategory that we were talking about first. And I'm going to say that it is super fucking annoying what has happened to many religions. And this is a whole nother video, and this is a whole nother topic, and we will probably make this video because there's a lot to say about it. But it'd be more interesting to do it with Zay here. So maybe we'll wait until they're going to be here we're celebrating Yule on the 19th of December, because that's the day we're all off. So that's more convenient for us. And also my work is pagan, as I've said in another video right now. So I'm doing a Yule ritual with them. So on actual Yule, and it takes place at 5 a.m. and then I work open to close. So that's not happening but I might do something little on the actual day. But okay, and it's very sad what's happened with a lot of faiths. For example, Hindu and other Eastern religions had a swastika way before Hitler decided to destroy the meaning, and now the meaning is wrecked. In America, in Canada, and in the UK, and some Scandinavian countries, like, the meaning is wrecked. Like, you can wear earrings with a swastika on it, but people are not going to really receive it well, even if you explain what it is now. And so for example, I am heathen, as I've said before, and I have jewelry pieces like this Mjolnir. And I personally haven't had people confuse me, because I'm super, I am super vocal about believing in causes such as Black Lives Matter, and obviously we're LGBTQ, so can't really, be a part of that. But it is super frustrating, and I am tangenting a little bit. Yeah, but this is important, though. But it is. This is a very important tangent. This is a tangent that we're going to make a whole video on. I think it's perfect for another video, maybe in a couple days or so. And now that Tia's into it, I didn't know she was going to be so into making videos, but it's going to be cool because now I have someone to talk to and bounce thoughts off with. So when she's saying like embody the culture, I would like to put the preface out here that we are not talking about what people have twisted the heathen faiths into, and we're not talking about any sort of whitewashing the world kind of bullshit. I'm not about that at all. I think diversity is beautiful. Yeah. Tia thinks diversity is beautiful. We're not about that. So I will say that I'm a heathen. I do follow Odin. I do follow Thor. What?
Oh, I was just jump in and say, my question wasn't just for, I guess, the faiths or the paths that are, kind of traditionally associated with Wicca. It was for any of them. So if you follow, ancient Egyptian religion, any Native American faiths, I just want to know, do those faiths influence your values? Sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. And I totally understand that. I just wanted to preface this when you're saying values and cultures. I want to make sure that that neither of us mean that. Whitewashing bullshit. We're not about that. No. At all. Like I said, if you're into that, please get the fuck off my channel, because you ain't in the right place, and I don't even want to see your comments. I will delete them on the spot. It is done. That shit is not happening. But so yeah. Well, I am half Spanish, and I am half Swedish. My grandpa was Swedish, and my grandmother had a lot of Swedish on her side, and a little bit of very minute amount of Native American. So I try to practice things that I am culturally attuned to. I don't really practice native faiths because I do see it for myself as a little bit of cultural appropriation, just because I'm not enough to do that. So I don't. So that part has affected my life. For example, the word smudging, and it probably is going to piss people off that I'm saying this, but it is kind of on that line of, is that culturally appropriative? So instead of smudging into a circle, we don't have a circle in heathen practices. Some people probably do, but we don't have a circle. But we asperge people, so we do the water or the mead in place of blood or whatever, because we usually have a ritual that's called a blot. So this December's ritual will be called Yola blot, for example. So where was I getting with that? Oh, so I try to keep it sensitive to cultures. I do not practice Voodoo because I am not from a nation that practices that. And I don't know if I'm really a proprietor of people doing that if they aren't from the culture. However, any European culture, I don't really feel like, you're not really transgressing any, moral boundaries by practicing any of those. So, another side tangent for another video another time. So but because I don't really have a lot of ties with culture, I do like to practice faiths of my deeply far away ancestors. I find that very interesting to me, and I do find the way that they lived very interesting, and it has changed my life, because her original question was actually posted on Pagans of the Path, which is another pagan group on Facebook, and I had answered that, I had verbally answered to her in the car on our way back from Bevmo that that I definitely take a lot of things from, especially because my deities are Scandinavian, other than, as I've said before, two Hecate is one. There is an animal behind us, and then Santa Muerte. So other than those two, and I am trying to learn Spanish to communicate more properly with Santa Muerte.
I'm teaching her.
And yeah, and it's a shame that I don't know, because I studied Mandarin and Japanese, so I don't know it as well. So we were talking about language wise, I would love to do more rituals in Spanish, but I do have to write it out and read it out at this time. In my Scandinavian based heathen rituals to Icelandic / Scandinavian gods, Odin, Freya, Ron, Aegir, examples being, my rituals are written in English and Proto-Norse, and I do take characteristics from the deities that I follow and apply them to my life. I know that I started out in Druidry / heathenism, and that really made me much more conscious of the earth around me, and I was talking about how I don't pull, when I was younger, I would pull plants off the ground. They're pretty and take them home, do my thing with them, whatever. Now I can walk by them and I can appreciate them for what they are. I can take a photo for my Instagram if I need to do that, but I try to I try to be respectful of the nature. If I take wood, for example, for Yule, which I do take, another little tradition, maybe I should make a video about Yule. I take 9 pieces of different trees and burn them at Yule. I make sure to thank the tree and ask the tree's permission before I'm taking from them. So I've gained a lot more respect of nature. I have become a bit of an ocean conservationist, a bit of an animal rights activist. Sorry, my dog is itching her butt. Stop it. And I was talking about another thing, and I have become a lot more caring about animals, and I don't eat meat, and I don't wear animal products unless they are eco-found. I do have bone runes, and I do have a bone necklace. Both of those were sourced for animals that were already dead in the wild, be it roadkill, my dog just farted and that's disgusting, or just died naturally. So those are the only type of animal products that I will. You are touching my butt. Those are the only kind of animal products I will touch. However, in heathen cultures, sacrifice and eating of the animal was a big part of the culture. I personally don't do that because I don't find the need to do it because I don't, because like especially in Scandinavian cultures, like they don't really have the land to farm as much vegetables and vegetation. And also back in like those times, in the times of the BCs and the beginnings of the 80s, like they don't have like freaking Pagan or Whole Foods. They can't just go buy a little slab of chicken, you know, they can't do that. So yeah, I just choose not to eat that because I'm not going to kill it myself. And I don't want to put body parts in my body. However, I don't have a problem with anybody else eating meat. Do what you want to do. I'm very like live and let live, and she's also very live and let live. She, you know, but the more positive things that I've taken, like I said, that respect for nature. I do really appreciate a long nature walk, or I love, Tia knows that I'm crazy, and when it is the summer or the spring, I live in Washington State, so you know it gets cold in the winter, but I will like get in the water, like I will get in the water, and I will like do my prayers and meditation. She's touching my butt again. Prayers and meditations, jeez. Prayers and like meditations and stuff in the water. I very, very much appreciate that. And also, like, that's another thing when we're going back to, like, taking things. Like, I won't take a shells if it has, like, barnacles in there because I can tell that they're living things. And as somebody who is a marine biology enthusiast, I'm not gonna do that. And she won't do that either. But, you know, sexiness. But going back to the actual question, yes, it has changed my life. It has actually, so some of the neo-pagan bits that I do put into my rituals about like self-improvement and self-love has, you know, I grew up with crippling suicidal depression, TMI, whatever. It's true. It really was awful. And like adding that to my life has really helped me. Now, I definitely don't go raid people and rape and pillage. I'm just kidding. That's totally like an over, that's just an over myth.
That's like a stereotype.
It's a stereotype. I'm just kidding. However, like I do practice vulva art, Vetki, rune readings, and
I feel like you
Seder
practice more than
and Galder and such things like that, where women are like wise people, and I do really honor the female form a lot. So I do like the feminine aspect of that, and how women were revered and were warriors, and I really am inspired by that. Did I answer the question correctly?
Yeah, I think you answered it really. Yeah, because I just wanted to know if you incorporated like their culture into your life, and if it like changed how you saw the world and like changed your values. And I think the answer is pretty much yeah. You like know some of their language, or you at least you write in it. You practice their artistic practices, and you hold their nature and
and like
women values.
Actually, the fact that you did bring that up is another thing that people who practice the vulva path, you know, we like to weave our destinies, and you know, the crafting of things is super important. So I do a lot of ritualistic crafting, you know, for various things, and it does lead me to think before I go out and buy something, like, can I make this at home? And a lot of times I will try. Sometimes I will fail, but I try. That's what matters. But I do make a lot of things for, you know, I do try to do another thing. I really love the Havamal. Maybe someday I'll read it, but that's another thing that I really incorporate into my life is Havamal teachings. Like, when you have a guest, like, you welcome that guest. You seek out wisdom in your life, and that's something that Odin has taught me, is seeking out wisdom and not being a poop head, you know, and not like bragging about shit that I have not accomplished and goals that I have not accomplished. I very much seek out my own my own destiny, forging my own way, and even though sometimes it doesn't work that way, but really trying to incorporate that, the ways of the Havamal and the ways that of Odin's, teachings. Don't trust people until you know them, or trust yourself first before you start fucking shit up. But also be very hospitable, be very kind. And so gifting is really important. So when I do hold my rituals, my blots, I try to come up with some sort of gift that I hand make, and then I give it out. And I probably have some photos of that sort of thing on my Instagram, which I need to put in the bottom of this. And the last thing, I need to actually go back and we'll talk about. But yeah.
You did a great job of answering the question, baby.
Well, thank you. Do you have anything you want to add about like how you feel about it?
I honestly haven't learned enough about any specific culture to actually try and recreate any part of it or ascribe to their values. But didn't you look
up some facts?
I looked up some facts online, but that's not quite the same thing.
But do you want to read the facts? Do you want to talk about those facts?
No, I was mainly looking at examples throughout history. Like, I was reading about the decline of Greco-Roman paganism in the Roman Empire and just kind of the cultural clashes between the early Christians and the pagans. And one value I thought was really interesting, and it's present in a lot of other polytheistic religions, is that, like, some polytheistic religions, and Wicca is one of them actually, they're able to like bend and incorporate more ideas. So like the Roman Empire was really, really successful because they were able to incorporate deities of other cultures into their faith, and it was their system had strict values, but it was also malleable, and they were very they wanted to incorporate everyone into it to make them become Roman. But the reason why the early Christians and Romans had so many issues was because the Christians were stubborn and were like Jesus only and everyone else is bad. So I don't know, it was interesting. The decline was really the clash between those two, like a kind of more open version of polytheism and like one way. And I think it is a different way of looking at the world if you're more open to like receiving ideas and building upon them versus just seeing a strict path. And actually Tengrism, the religion of Genghis Khan, was the same way. He said like a hand has 5 fingers, there's many paths to the middle. So that's actually like they were open to multiple religions. I mean, I'm sure if you weren't in the inner family you had to like pay more in taxes and stuff, but they weren't like, they were into incorporating the beliefs of the people that they conquered. So I think like that's just an example of 2 different sets of values, like because it really is different if you're willing to like incorporate outside knowledge versus just like orthodox one view is the only view.
And have you learned about any of those things like when you were out of the country, like?
Oh yeah, like I spent a year living in Turkey, and
where did you also live?
I lived in Ecuador as well. I don't know, like.
Also, while you're thinking, I think you should show that thing to our viewers.
This cat.
This cat. This is our kitten.
Can you hold my Mead while
I can hold the Mead. This is our kitten. And my last video, I did not have this cat.
This is Binks.
His name is Binks. Holy crap, can you see Binks, though? It's just some eyes and some ears.
Wait, we're going to get him up closer. Binks!
He loves to sit on this freaking laptop, of course. Here.
He's really cute.
He's super cute. He is 5.5 months old. Sit down with him. Maybe you'll see him. I don't know. Maybe not. Well, he's really cute. And continue with your comment. I just thought.
No, it's just.
Wanted to see him.
I think that like a lot of these traditions came with cultural values that were very different.
I totally farted. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think that a lot of these deities came from cultures with very different values than the ones we have in like the United States and Europe. And I think it's important to remember that and think about whether or not we want to incorporate those values into, I don't know, our lives. I don't know enough about a specific culture to do it myself, but like a lot of them, for instance, were not as consumerist as we are, or they were more community oriented or more family oriented, or they had, I guess, provisions in them that encourage you to limit the number of like crazy things that you did. But yeah, it's just important to realize that these people were not Americans living in 2017.
Well, not all the viewers are Americans, so
Americans, British, you know.
Yeah.
They weren't modern people with the internet like us.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're talking about like European nations and American nations have different values, so I want to be careful.
Yeah, okay. Okay, they weren't people living in 2017.
Yeah,
Sorry.
We're in an apartment.
Oh, okay. They weren't people living in 2017 watching
didn't change.
American TV under the, I don't know. They weren't like modern people.
Because you want to remember that like the U.S. and the U.K. have totally different values.
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Like I have not been there, but from what I've seen, it seems like the family is still a lot more important there than it is here, which is sad, but true. And I don't think that there's as much.
And no, I agree. I guess just the point is they weren't 2017 people, and their cultural values were most likely very different from our own. Oh, Peppy.
Food? Oh, she's so happy. Hello. That's our other dog. We have another big dog, but I can't pick him up because he's huge.
He just fell asleep.
He kind of visited in the last video.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the topic. Feel free to answer with your own responses. I'm curious if any of you went the full route and learned the language and read the text in the original language and lived the values every single day.
I chalked this whole 2 videos with something in my teeth. So look at that. Look at this. Now pick them, because I'm terrible. I need something to get that out, so you're going to have to stick with it. I'm just going to hide it for the rest of the video. So I hope you were watching and noticed that, and then you're like, I'm so glad that you saw that, because holy shit, it's been driving me nuts.
But yeah, thank you so much for your response, baby. To my prompt. And
you're
everyone
welcome,
else,
love.
Everyone else, feel free to
She's
leave
so
a comment
formal,
with your
cute.
own responses. I'm curious.
And we'll see you soon. I should be putting up some sort of YOL video because I do things super specific every year. And I would also like to talk about the differences between YOL and the cat is now laying on your phone. Between YOL and Christmas and Saturnalia and all this stuff. And Tia keeps talking about she wants to host Saturnalia next year. And I was making the joke. I was like, Saturnalia is not going to happen, Gretchen. Stop making Saturnalia.
It's going to happen.
But apparently it's going to happen. So I have celebrated Lupercalia once, which I had a lot of fun with. So if it's anything like that, I know there's going to be lots of wine.
Yes.
So I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
I like it because it shakes up society and reverses the roles that people have. I mean, it's cool. Like, it's nice to think of everything inversed. It's like communism, but only for a few days.
Tia loves politics. She likes to, literally sit and just, scroll politics on her phone. So
that's what I do.
It is what she does. I want to also point out something. We have a legitimate, look at that, right above the TV, what? Epic. So I think this is going to be Peace Out Home Skillets. Show your shirt again, though, real quick.
This is a cat shirt.
I got a Ouija cat shirt from work. It's I bought, the biggest size so that I could wear it like a dress. But yeah, so we're going to Peace Out Home Skillets, and we'll be making a new video really soon. I also promised some tarot videos, so I'll be doing that soon. And I also wanted to make one slight note. I'm doing this on a webcam, so it's not going to be great quality. When I do other videos outside, they'll be great quality again. So, it is going to reverse us. This is Fehu. I do know how to write it. When you see it, it's going to be flipped. So, ignore that shit. It's stupid. Anyway, peace out, my homes.